on 5425 kilohertz. It's time to take the relay of national amateur radio news from VK1WIA.
It's the best news you'll get all week. I'm Graham, VK4BB. And taking pride of place this week is VK2WI Roger Harrison as he looks at his preview copy of the WIA's latest amateur radio magazine. And I'm sure you will all recognise these voices who, week upon week, starring the real directors of the WIA.
Over the past 3 months, the WIA has reviewed.
Members are invited to ask questions of the board.
For WIA-affiliated clubs, it is very important to ensure that you have a base level of WIA members as part of your club.
The first meeting has been held, and the Observer Committee is keen to get into the meaty topics.
This review is being conducted by the WIA Spectrum Strategic Committee.
Recently, the WIA has highlighted several areas that need consideration for the benefit of new and existing amateurs studying for their respective licences.
This is Editor-in-Chief of Amateur Radio Magazine, Roger Harrison, VK2WI. Last Monday, the files for issue number 2 of AR Magazine for this year were uploaded to the printed server in Bairnsdale, Victoria. Look out for the issue landing in your letterbox, your post office box, or your local news agency late next week. The theme for this soon-to-arrive issue is Hacks and Hints. Dude, there are 16 pages filled with articles, long and short, crafty and colourful, fanciful and fulsome, dedicated solely to the hackers and homebrewers among us. And isn't that everyone? Well, maybe at one time or another perhaps. If you're not currently part of the homebrewer brigade, then maybe this issue will stimulate your central bodily juices to return. The section kicks off with a curious little rig and amp testing circuit to build. Dude, no more whistling into the mic. The crafty little circuit generates an audio signal that mimics speech. It's brought to us by the indefatigable Jim Fagella, VK5JST. For antenna builders, there's a super feature from Peter Sumner, VK5PJ, aka Pedro, on how to set up for and put together a proper Yagi, having elements that end up all straight and parallel, especially for round booms. With copious photographic illustrations, it's metalwork form. Moving on, there's a line in a song from yesteryear that I recall goes, "A good joint is hard to find. I always seem to get the other kind." So, how to solder to other metals like aluminium and stainless steel is revealed in graphic detail, including the secret bits. Apparently, working up a gob full of spit is not necessary, providing you hold your tongue the right way when making the joint. Oh yes, a good joint might be hard to find, but it's a joy to behold. WIA historian Peter Wolferton, VK3RV, completes his rundown on how Amateur Radio Magazine came into being in 1933. Over the decade beforehand, the Roaring Twenties, there were many intrigues, twists and turns among publishers and institute divisions that carry the line, quote, "official organ of the Wireless Institute of Australia," end quote, on the masthead of their magazine, newspaper or newsletter. An unlikely Murdoch tale writ small. Yep, AR Mag this year clocks up 90 years on the trot. Not to be missed are other features that are all about on-air operations at notable locations. Stephen Warilla, VK3SN, recounts his experience of holidaying with his wife on Christmas Island in the tropical Indian Ocean northwest of Australia, adding a bit of DXing on the side. Meanwhile, Victoria's windswept Cape Nelson Lighthouse on the southwest coast was the scene for a weekend of fun and frolic with Glenn Alford, VK3CAM, on the air for last year's International Lighthouse and Lightship Weekend. Glenn furnished us a dramatic photo of the Cape Nelson Lighthouse for this issue's front cover. Unmissable. If you're looking for the magazine in the newsagents and you can't see it in the tech magazine section, check to see if it's in the sailing and boating section. Dear oh dear. And now, for the news you've been waiting for. Here comes Notebook Burns this issue, and Lou DeStefano, VK3AQZ, completes the article on his 400-watt G-Network antenna tuner. Amateur Radio Magazine, Volume 91, Issue number 2 for 2023. Serving Australian radio amateurs for 90 years on the trot. Available in print and online. Always published to a schedule, never random. 2. This is our magazine Editor-in-Chief, Roger Harrison, VK2WI for VK1WIA News.
Wireless weather, I'm Graham, VK4BB. An eruption on the far side of the sun was so powerful its shockwave hit Earth. The sun has been spitting out some pretty powerful eruptions in the last few weeks, but one took pride of place. It's a real doozy. Back around March 12, sun monitoring spacecraft recorded a huge amount of material blasting away from the far side of the sun from a coronal mass ejection. Detected as an expanding cloud or halo of solar debris, it raced away from the sun at exceptionally high speeds of 2,127 kilometres per second. The sun spitting out flares and coronal mass ejections is nothing new, but this one was something special. Usually, eruptions on the far side don't tend to hit Earth, since they're facing the opposite direction. But this one was so intense that satellites orbiting our home planet picked up the signal of particles from the eruption accelerated by the eruption shockwave right into our corner of space.
This is VK2WI. We're pausing VK1WIA news for network identification. Would manual relay stations please identify? Thank you, relay stations. VK2WI provides this news bulletin on a range of frequencies from 160 metres through to 23 centimetres, along with relays via many regional VHF and UHF repeaters. We thank the operators of these systems for their time and effort. This is VK2WI and VKE580 on 5425 kHz. We now return to VK1WIA National News.
Now, international news with Jason. Victor Kilo 2, Lima Alpha Whiskey.
Hello. Our first story, source to Region 2, is actually a little out of that area. In fact, out of international news even. Have you ever wondered what time it is on the moon? A new era of lunar exploration is on the rise, with dozens of moon missions planned for the coming decade, and Europe, IARU Region 2, is in the forefront here, contributing to building the Gateway Lunar Station and the Orion spacecraft, which is set to return humans to our natural satellite, as well as developing its large logistic lunar lander known as Argonaut. As dozens of missions will be operating on and around the moon, the needing to communicate together and fix their positions independently from Earth, this new era will require its own time. Timing is a crucial element, as ESA navigation system Pietro Giordano, who said, during a meeting recently we agreed on the importance and urgency of defining a common lunar reference time, which is internationally accepted and towards which all lunar systems and users may refer to. A joint international effort is now being launched towards achieving this. In news from Region 1, broadcaster shuts long-wave radio transmitter in Iceland. A long-wave radio transmitter in Iceland has been shut down and demolished as Iceland phases out that form of broadcast. A team of police stood nearby to oversee safety concerns. Destruction of the mast, standing at 218 metres, Iceland's third tallest structure, took place because of a decline in the number of listeners to long-wave radio broadcasts. The transmitter had been operated on 207 kHz by the Icelandic broadcaster RUB, which is now giving priority to FM. Another RUB transmitter will continue operating for a little longer in West Iceland on 189 kHz. This is Iceland's tallest structure at 412 metres. There are plans also for that transmitter to close once FM broadcasts replace all its functions. The impetus for the change is being driven in part by Iceland's civil defence and other organisations looking to improve emergency notification capabilities. That role is going to be transferred to FM, which is slowly being upgraded throughout Iceland. Austria restricts 23cm band operation. Austria has become the latest country to impose restrictions on amateur radio operation in the 23cm band, 1240 to 1300 MHz, to protect ground-based receivers for the Galileo RNSS satellite constellation. The UK The well-known rally previously held annually at the Newark Showground in the UK has been cancelled. A statement on the Hamfest website said that at such short notice, organisers cannot find a replacement venue or a new date. Directors considered a July event, but ultimately it was decided that there were too many obstacles for the attendees, traders and to financial benefits. The directors wrote, "We can assure you we haven't made this decision lightly." They committed to what they call the bigger and better event in September 2024 at the Newark Showground. In news from Region 2, record fines for stations charged with piracy. A New York City broadcaster charged with piracy has become the first of two stations to be targeted under a new law passed 3 years ago, enabling larger and, until now, unprecedented penalties. The FCC has proposed a record fine of more than $2.3 million against Radio Impacto 2, which the agency said was still on air at the time the Commission made its announcement on Wednesday, March 15th. According to a report in AR Newsline, the radio signals are being transmitted from the New York City borough of Queens. Radio Impacto's website calls it the official radio of Ecuadorians in New York. The FCC issued a $20,000 forfeiture against the station in 2015, and a year later its broadcast equipment was seized by US Marshals. The second station was identified in a Radio World report as Pirate Radio Eastern Oregon, and its operator faces an $80,000 forfeiture. Congratulations to CQ magazine, where a new associate editor has been hired. Amateur radio newsliner reporting Sabrina Herman, Kilo Bravo 3 uniform Juliet Whiskey, has joined the staff, succeeding long-time managing editor Jason Felt and Kilo Delta 2 India Whiskey Mike. Sabrina has previously been managing editor and promotional coordinator for Hermes Press, a small publisher of books in Pennsylvania. She's been a hand for 13 years. And to Region 3, news from our own backyard, and I'm going to pitch Bruce's VK3WI Thunder and announce this story here instead of Bruce's special interest group news. First-time summit activator Emil, VK5 Whiskey has now earned 1 point in the SOTA Awards scheme for each year of his life. The 10-year-old successfully activated Mount Wellington in Tasmania with a handheld and a lot of hope on Tuesday, March 21st, shortly before 9:30am local Tassie time. The summit is 1,270 metres high. Not that we're suggesting he walked all the way. Operating at VK5 Whiskey/7, he logged 6 contacts across the Hobart area on 2 metres. 1.5 hour later, it was a done deal. Emil's first solo act was a success. His proud father, John, VK5 Hotel Alpha, who's also an activator, reported his son's SOTA success on the Australian SOTA Activators Group.io email list. Congratulations on reaching new heights, Emil. Good on you. For VK1WIA National News in Sydney, I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
Now, operational news with Felix, VK4FUQ.
Now, contest-wise, 2023. On now is this year's CQ Worldwide WPX SSB contest, and it concludes at 23:59 hours UTC, the 26th of March. Using SSB on the 160 to 10 metre bands, where contests are permitted, the exchange is signal report and serial number. Here at a contest, youngsters on the air, first round 22nd of April, 0800 hours to 19:59 hours UTC. May 6th, Saturday, Harry Angel Memorial Sprint, 106 minutes, an annual 80 metre contest event. First established in 1999 to commemorate the life of Harry Angel. VK4HA, who at the time was becoming a Solanke, was the oldest licensed amateurs in Australia at 106. Held on the first Saturday in May each year, 10 hours UTC to 11:46 UTC. May 2021, Don Edwards Memorial Stonewalls contest begins the weekend after Mother's Day. 80 metre section, Saturday 20th of May, 6 to 9 p.m. Sydney time. 40 metre section, afternoon of Sunday 21st of May, 1 to 4 p.m. Sydney time. June 24-25, winter VHF UHF field day. 0100 hours UTC Saturday 24 to 0059 hours UTC Sunday 25. June weekend prior to the second Monday of June, VK Shive. Also make a mental note that the 2023 QRP Day happens June 17. IAA HF World Championship Contest takes place the second full weekend of July, beginning 1200 hours UTC Saturday and ending 1200 hours UTC Sunday, July 8 and 9. Next window, time to check my foreign play this week. Active is FR/F5 UOW from Reunion Island, AF016, until tomorrow, Monday the 27th of March, using CW. QSL via Logbook of the World. Until April 2nd, the crew will be QRV from Antigua Island. IATA 100, using the call B26DI. They have to be set up in time to participate in this weekend's CQ/WW WPX SSB contest. Operating over 9 days on CW, SSB, Ritty and a little FT8. The group look forward to seeing many of you in the logs. QSL is via Charles M0OXO. All logs will be uploaded to LOTW after the trip. The Russian expedition team is using the call sign 9X5RU in Rwanda until April the 7th on 160 to 6 meters, and they will be using the QO100 satellite. They operate CW, SSB and FT8, and QSL via club logs, OQRS and LOTW. Listen for the special event call sign A60AP, which is on the air until the 31st of August. The subject stands for the Emirates Astronaut Program, which prepares crews of UAE astronauts for missions that include the International Space Station. QSL by EA7FTR. For VK1WIA National News, I'm Felix, VK4FUQ Enningham.
This is VK2WI. We're pausing VK1WIA news for network identification. Would manual relay stations please identify? Thank you, relay stations. VK2WI is located in the northwest of Sydney at Dural. The site was established as a home for VK2WI in 1965 and is now the centre of operations for Amateur Radio New South Wales. This is VK2WI on a range of frequencies and VKE580 on 5425 kHz. We now return to VK1WIA National News.
Now, Special Interest Group News with Bruce, VK3FFF.
Worldwide Special Interest Group News. Summits on the air. Worldwide Flora Fauna Program. Parks on the air. And other adventure groups. VK7WI News has reported on 70 new worldwide flora and fauna park reserve reference areas that have been added to the VK7 directory list, including areas on King and Flinders Islands. All new WWFF reference areas must fall within the International Union for Conservation of Nature Protected Area Category System. The list of the new VK7 park reserves can be found in the WWFF online directory or the WWFF Australia website and will be added to the Parks and Peaks website. Speaking of parks, Carmel, VK2CAR, Colin, VK2JCC, Stewart, VK2BMX and others have been activating various parks in northern Sydney. Parks such as Warunga Park and Grove Park in Hornsby Heights. Their portable station is a real magnet for passers-by. The hams hand out club business cards and talk about the hobby with these curious passers-by. Well done for not only parking, but in promoting our great hobby. VI10VKFF. Paul, VK5PAS, the National Coordinator for the Worldwide Flora and Fauna Program, abbreviated as WWFF, joins us now.
WWFF is an international park activation program and is extremely popular here in VK. The Australian chapter of the WWFF program is known as VKFF. This month, March 2003, we celebrate 10 years of the WWFF program in Australia. A special event call sign of VI10VKFF has been granted by the ACMA to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of VKFF. The call sign is available for use by amateurs who are activating an Australian park as part of the VKFF program. If you are interested in using VI10VKFF whilst activating a VKFF park, please send an email to vkffaustralia@gmail.com. If you do hear a VKFF park activator using the call sign, please give them a call. You're not required to submit a log or do anything formal following the QSO. The park activator would be very pleased to hear from you. More information on VI10VKFF and the VKFF program can be found on the WWFF Australia website at www.ffaustralia.com. 73 Paul VK5 Papa Alpha Sierra.
Thanks, Paul. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, CW. Following on from a recent release of a Morse Practice YouTube Shorts video for the letters of the alphabet, Electronics Notes has now launched another video in the series, but for numbers 120. The video counts through the numbers 120 in turn, and this sequence is repeated. If you are interested in learning Morse code, like a few we know, it might be worth checking it out. It is less than a minute long, so you won't waste much time if you don't like it, and if you do, then it can repeat to help with the learning process. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Final Frontier. NASA is awarding more than $3.8 million to 21 museums, science centres and other informal education institutions for projects designed to bring the excitement of space science to communities across the USA and broaden student participation in STEM. STEM is the acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics. Projects were selected for NASA's Teams Engaging Affiliated Museums and Informal Institutions program and their Community Anchor Awards. The selected projects will engage their communities in a wide variety of STEM topics, from aeronautics and earth science to human space exploration. Copy that, or should that be print that? Looking for a fun project? Look no further than Relativity Space in California for inspiration. Their Terran 1 will try to become the first 3D printed methane-fueled rocket to reach orbit. Josh Groff, Vice President of Revenue Operations at Relativity Space, said there are a number of firsts here potentially on this rocket, and said it has the chance of being the first liquid natural gas, liquid oxygen rocket to make it to orbit. It has by far the highest 3D printed content of any rocket in history. We're sitting at about 85% by mass, where I don't think any other rocket has gone past maybe 4%. Compared to a traditional rocket that has more than 100,000 parts, this 3D printed rocket has less than 1,000 parts. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Radio Scouting. And for this segment, it's to Alex, VK2APC.
Thank you, Bruce. And hello, everyone. Did you have a good John Moyle Memorial Contest last weekend? What a great weekend it was for a small group of scouts and leaders at Cataract Scout Activity Centre, southwest of Sydney. Brett Nicholas, VK2BNN, organised a weekend camp to stay at a campground in Cataract, participate in John Moyle, and for those on the camp to learn a bit more about radioactivity. They operated under the call sign Victor Kilo 2, Sierra Romeo Alpha Portable. We now have a scout who is keen to get his amateur radio license after calling TQ for the contest, logging some contacts for another scout, and making a contact with Lorno Zanoli, India Kilo 4 Golf Romeo Oscar in Italy. The scouts also learned about and participated in a fox hunt as a side activity. The group even had a visit from a Guyana who was curious about amateur radio. Alan, my brother who is a Cub, took some photos of the camp, and you can see a couple on Bevan's video version of this week's news. The group would like to thank the many amateurs who demonstrated patience plus offered words of encouragement and support over the air to the inexperienced youth that participated in the contest. On another note, a very sincere thank you to Cole, Bruce, Graham, Devon, and to everyone else who wished me a happy birthday. I really appreciated the birthday wishes from you. For VK1WI National News, I'm Alex, VK2 APC in Sydney.
And thanks to Alex. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Rescue Radio. Alan, VK4HIT from the Ipswich and District Radio Club, joins in now with some Wyson news.
Just a reminder for members who expressed an interest in learning how to set up and operate the Wyson portable repeater that Saturday morning, April 22 at 0900 hours has been set aside for this event. Bob, VK4EK, will show how it's all done, and for future events, members can start to take some of the burden off Bob and Sylvia, and thus not having to rely on them 100%. Please attend if you can, and contact Robert, VK4KHW, or Greg, VK4GJW beforehand. Reporting from Ipswich, this is Alan, VK4 Hotel India Tango.
Thanks, Alan. And a reminder, Ipswich Wyson is always on the lookout for extra help for these events.
This is VK2WI. We're pausing VK1WIA news for network identification. Would manual relay stations please identify? Thank you, relay stations. A bulletin of news compiled by Amateur Radio New South Wales follows this bulletin from VK1WIA. VK2WI News has coverage throughout Southeast Australia, and clubs, groups and individuals are invited to contribute content by email to news@arnsw.org.au. This is VK2WI on a range of frequencies and VKE 580 on 5425 kHz. We now return to VK1WIA National News.
Most of us have heard the phrase, when all else fails, ham radio. Well, our story here carries an alternative thought. When all else fails, aerial drones. From AR Newsline, KK6 ITB.
Deep snow in the Cascade Mountains of Oregon left two motorists trapped earlier this year in the Willamette National Forest. One of them was a woman who had become stranded in her minivan. The other was a man traveling not far from there. There was rarely any traffic or even maintenance workers on this little-traveled road, but they were able to spot one another and try to find a way out of their predicament. However, the road's remote location put it out of range for cell phone service. The snow grew higher, and the temperatures dropped lower. As the two tried to find a way to get word out that they were in danger, the man realized he might, in fact, have a way out for the both of them after all. He would use line-of-sight communications, the same principle employed by ham radio operators on VHF, UHF, and microwave frequencies, as well as those using satellites. He realized that if he could get his cell phone up high enough, say several hundred feet above the thick treetops, its signal would reach a cell tower, enabling it to send a text message that could carry the details of his distress to a friend. He had the cell phone, and, as luck would have it, he happened to have an aerial drone in his car, and the drone had enough power to make that successful flight. It worked. The man's friend received the text with his location and the details of what had happened, and the sheriff's search and rescue team did the rest. The two motorists and the drone were brought to safety. This is Ralph Squillaci, KK6 ITB.
Thanks, Ralph. I'm Bruce, VK3FFF from sunny Bendigo.
This is VK1WIA. All points of contact from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web edition, www.wia.org.au.
2023 social scene. VK4 Redcliffe, it's the Red Fest, happens April 1. In VK3, it's Antennapalooza at Druin West, April 15 and 16. VK3 Moorabbin Hamfest, May 6. It's the WIA AGM. It happens May 13 at 10:30 a.m. VK5, the Third Convention Fox Hunting Championships, June 10, 11. VK4 Sunfest, September 9 at Mountain Creek State School to the west of Mooloolaba. And Alara Meet 2023 happens November 4 and 5 in Hobart. Now till next we meet, I'm Graham, VK4BB. Walk softly.
Thanks to Graham, the WIA National News Team. This is VK2WI News, live from our studios at Dural in Sydney. I'm your announcer for this morning, Al, VK2OK, and in engineering we have Izzy, VK2CAA. The weather here at Dural is overcast, temperature around about 21 degrees. Rainfall at the VK2WI site over the last week was 4 millimetres, and our transmitter status is all operational.
This is VK2WI and relay stations pausing for network identification. Would manual relay stations please identify? Thank you, relay stations. 2010 marked 100 years of organised amateur radio activity in Australia. It was in March 1910 that a meeting held in Sydney evolved into the WIA, the world's oldest national amateur radio society. This is VK2WI on a range of frequencies and VKE 580 on 5425 kHz. Now back to the news.
In the news from Amateur Radio New South Wales for this week, VK2WI News would like to hear from clubs and groups planning amateur radio activities. Just email the details and contact information to news@arnsw.org.au, and would also welcome reports on recent activities. General inquiries can be directed to the ARNSW office via email to office@arnsw.org.au, or you can leave a phone message on 029444 0123. Tonight we also welcome listeners on the EchoLink AM conference and the Australian and New Zealand EchoLink network. Callbacks will also be taken after tonight's bulletin. Our thanks to John, VK3, HJQ and the Australian and New Zealand EchoLink network team for making this relay available. A reminder that next Sunday sees the end of daylight saving time. Since VK2WI News maintains the same local times of 10 a.m. and 7:30 p.m, HF propagation conditions may differ. If you have reception difficulties on radio, you can listen to the bulletin streamed live from our website, arnsw.org.au/audio. We encourage callbacks and feedback on our news bulletins. Over the last 12 months, we average about 250 callbacks per weekend, both direct from VK2WI and via our relay stations. Callbacks are a valuable source of feedback to us on the reach and usefulness of our news bulletins. If callbacks are not taken on your relay outlet, you can contact us directly by email to callbacks@arnsw.org.au. The signal report and any comments, and we'd like to hear from you. Note from our news editor. VK2WI News reports on a wide variety of activities relating to amateur radio. We're currently seeking expressions of interest for a contributor to provide a regular feature report on contesting activity, with particular focus on activities in the Australia and Pacific region. The report could be weekly, fortnightly or monthly, ideal as an audio contribution, alternatively as a script suitable for live read. more information on any inquiries, you can contact the VK2WI team via email news@arnsw.org.au. This was provided by Matt, VK2YAP, the news editor for VK2WI News. Weekly solar and geophysical report. This report takes a brief look at the expected space weather conditions over the next few days, and in particular events that might affect radio propagation conditions. Our regular solar and geophysical report and solar flux index update can be heard on tonight's VK2WI evening news. The data in this report is supplied with thanks to the Australian Space Weather Forecasting Centre. Solar activity on Friday was below warning levels with no significant flaring activity. Activity is expected to remain at R0 or R1 levels until the 27th. No Earth-directed CMEs were observed on Friday. However, a filament eruption was visible in GOES satellite images at about 1946 UTC. Solar wind speed on Friday was only slightly elevated, averaging 450 kilometres a second. The solar wind speed is expected to increase over the weekend due to a broad southern hemisphere coronal hole. 10 centimetre solar flux should be around 160. Geomagnetic activity in the Australian region reached G2 warning levels on Friday. Mostly G1 to G2 conditions were observed in the Antarctic, with an isolated period of G3 at Mawson and an isolated G4 at Macquarie Island. G1 conditions are expected over the weekend due to solar wind stream effects, returning to quiet conditions by Monday. HF propagation was degraded early on Friday due to unexpected strong geomagnetic activity. Continuing geomagnetic activity over the weekend is likely to cause mildly degraded HF conditions for middle to high latitudes. Maximum usable frequencies on Friday across the southern Australian region were depressed during the local day up to 40%, but recovered by local night. Strong spread F was observed in Hobart. Mild degradations are likely over the weekend while increased geomagnetic activity continues. Afterwards, enhancement of 15% is expected. The T-index around 105 is expected for the next few days, somewhat above monthly predicted 80. And short wave fade-outs are possible.
This is VK2WI and relay stations pausing for network identification. Would manual relay stations please identify? Thank you, relay stations. For voice contact with Amateur Radio New South Wales, the office telephone number is 0296511490, which usually goes to the message bank. This is VK2WI and VKE580 on 5425 kHz. Now back to the news.
Wyson News. Today, Wyson is supporting Dementia Australia in 2 memory walk and jog events. One at Don Lucas Reserve in Cronulla, and the other at Spears Point Park in the Hunter. Memory walks last just a few hours, so they're ideal starter events for new Wyson members to get some experience. The next memory walk event is in Sydney on 21st of May. In April, Wyson will provide communications for the New South Wales Pickleball Open in Wahroonga, northern Sydney. If you'd like to participate in any Wyson event and find out more, you can email wyson.ops@vrarescue.org. Wyson's weekly voice nets are 6 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. on Sunday using FM voice, DMR or HF voice, depending on the week. All Wyson members and other amateurs are welcome to join in. Tonight, the 6pm net will be on the Chatswood 2-metre FM repeater, 146.150, with net control of VK2WI, and the 6:30 net will be on Wyson VHF DMR network. Wyson, New South Wales is a communications support squad of VRA Rescue New South Wales, providing skilled radio communications in time of emergency, and Wyson also supports local community events, providing practical training in tactical field communications and to build other radio skills. For more details of Wyson net schedules and other information, you can check out the Wyson New South Wales website at nsw.wyson.org.au. That's nsw.wycn.org.au. Wyson's also available on Facebook and on Twitter at WysonNSW. There you can find photographs and information about current and previous activations. For information about other Wyson groups around Australia, you can visit the web at wyson.org.au and click on the map. Now for club news, we start this week up at Port Macquarie, the Oxley Region Amateur Radio Club. Their monthly general meeting is 2pm on Saturday, 1st of April, at the SCS building in Central Road, Port Macquarie. After the meeting, David, VK2AYD, will present part 2 of the Bletchley Park story. The club's new VK2 RCN repeater at the Telegraph Point site is nearly complete. The 2-metre and 70cm repeaters are now on air, and the APRS Digipeater and the 6-metre repeater will be installed once some technical issues with the equipment are rectified. The club's annual field day is coming up on Saturday and Sunday the 10th and 11th of June during the King's Birthday long weekend. The field day is at War Hope Showground Hall, with field day dinner at Port Macquarie Golf Club on the Saturday night. The field day will have all the usual activities, including fox hunts, trade displays both days, trash and treasure, and a home brew display. Be sure to book accommodation well ahead. The next foundation training and assessment weekend is on next weekend. Courses are run once sufficient candidates have registered their interest. So you can contact the club via the contact form on the website, or write to PO Box 712, Port Macquarie, New South Wales 244. There's 2 club nets each week. The midnet week from 7:30pm on Thursday nights, the weekend net at 9am Sunday mornings. Both are on the VK2 RPM 2-metre repeater, 146.7 with a 91.5 tone, and also on Echolink VK2 RPM-R. Members and visitors are encouraged to participate in the club on-air nets as often as possible. To find out more about the Oxley Region Amateur Radio Club, you can visit their website at orarc.org, and the site contains a wealth of amateur radio items in addition to club information. The March 2023 edition of the club's bi-monthly newsletter Oxtails is in preparation, and past issues are on the website as well. You can also find the club on Facebook just by searching Oxley Region Amateur Radio Club. And this was advised by Henry, VK2ZHE, for the Oxley Region Amateur Radio Club. Now going to the Bloom Mountains. The Bloom Mountains Amateur Radio Club are reminded that the club's April meeting has been brought forward to avoid clashing with the Good Friday public holiday. The meeting is on this coming Friday, 31st of March, 7:30pm. The usual venue of the club rooms, 4 Moore Street, Glenbrook, in the Blue Mountains, and doors open from 7pm. Visitors and prospective new members are always welcome. The club has several weekly nets. We have details in the activities on the air later in this bulletin. There's also a DMR net on Monday nights, and you can see the club website for details. Foundation licence and upgrade courses continue at the club. The next course is scheduled for the weekend, 15th, 16th of April. Exams for other licence grades will also be available on the 16th. Course and examination days do fill out quickly, so if you can contact the club secretary, Irene, VK2WI, by email to secretary@bmarc.org to register or for more information. More information about the club can be found on the website at www.bmarc.org. This was advised by Stephen, VK2TSG, President, Blue Mountains Amateur Radio Club. Fisher's Ghost Amateur Radio Club. The next meeting of the club is on this Wednesday, 29th of March, in Block M at the Campbelltown School of Performing Arts, Beverley Road, Campbelltown, and it commences at 7:30 p.m. Visitors wishing to learn more about amateur radio are most welcome to attend. The club's weekly nets on Thursday evening start 7:30 p.m. on the club's repeater, VK2RFG on 438.65, and anyone is welcome to check in. The repeater has a 77 megahertz input and a 91.5 tone is required for access, and it's also available via Echolink. To find out more about the club's activities, you can visit the website at fgars.org.au, and the club's Facebook page can be found by searching for VK2FG. That's advised by Peter, VK2PR, for the Fisher's Ghost Amateur Radio Club.
This is VK2WI and relay stations pausing for network identification. Would manual relay stations please identify? Thank you, relay stations. For written contact with Amateur Radio New South Wales, you can email office@arnsw.org.au or mail to PO Box 6044, Dural Delivery Centre, New South Wales 2158. This is VK2WI on a range of frequencies and VKE 580 on 5425 kilohertz. Now back to the news.
Central Coast Amateur Radio Club, the club's carry-on club rooms are open every Saturday from 10 a.m. And as always, members and visitors are most welcome. Central Coast Amateur Radio Club sends their best wishes for a speedy recovery to our repeater coordinator Don, VK2ZCZ. Don't be an April fool. The next monthly business meeting will be on 1 p.m. on Saturday the 1st of April. Congratulations to the winner of a Christmas ham. That is a Rigs Expert AA-1500 antenna analyzer and a DX Commander Classic 80 to 10 metre vertical antenna kit. The winner was very surprised and over the moon. The club thanks to all those who took part in the event. VK2 RAG Summersby D-Star Radnet DMR 2 metre Echolink services are fully functional. The Summersby Web SDR is online at websdr.ccarc.org.au, and it's configured to listen on 6 metres, 2 metres, 70 centimetres and 23 centimetres. Club's morning tea net is on each weekday from 10 a.m. The weekly net is 8 p.m. Thursday night. Both nets are on the VK2 RAG 2 metre repeater, 146.725 with a 91.5 tone, and on the CCARC NSW and the ham Echo Link conferences. The Thursday evening net is also live video streamed on the club's Facebook page. You can find out more about the Central Coast Amateur Radio Club, including information on upcoming social events and all the details we can't tell you about here, on the web at ccarc.org.au. or you can phone 02 4340 2500. Or social media, search Central Coast Amateur Radio Club, and remember to like, to follow for updates. 73 from Alan, VK2MG, Publicity Officer for the Central Coast Amateur Radio Club. Now for Manly Warringah Radio Society, this Wednesday, the 29th of March, is the 5th Wednesday of the month. So what, you ask? Well, Manly Warringah, the 5th Wednesday of the month, is the theme night. This time the theme is Old Kits and Gear, and you can unearth your ancient purchase from Dick Smith, Tandy, Heathkit, Hamfest, etc., and show them off to win a prize for the best gear or best story about your gear. Dick, VK2WIK, and Dave Jones from EV Blog will be the guest judges on the night. Special event station VI100MB was portable near Nowra last week in the John Moyle Memorial Field Day contest. The team, Don, VK2JNA, Leo, VK2LEO, and Nick, VK2FS, clocked up a total of 171 contacts and 342 points. Thanks to everyone who gave the club's centenary special event station its first major outing of the year. The station will continue to be active throughout 2023. You can find the Society on your favourite social media channel. Just go to the club website and click on Facebook, Twitter or YouTube icons in the page header. Follow, like, subscribed or whatever to keep up with the latest happenings at the club. The Manly Warringah Radio Society meets every Wednesday evening at the First Terry Hills Guides Hall, 7 Beltana Avenue, Terry Hills. Doors open at 7:30 p.m. for an 8 p.m. start, and visitors are always welcome. If you need directions, you can call in on the club's 2-metre repeater 146.875 or check the club website for details. And the club website is mwrs.org.au. That's mwrs.org.au. 73 from Richard, VK2SKY, Publicity Officer for the Manly Warringah Radio Society. Going down to St George, the St George Amateur Radio Society, the Society's Don Edwards Memorial Slow Morse Contest is on again this year, over the weekend of the 20th and 21st of May. To help with preparation for the contest at the Society's next gathering on Wednesday the 5th of April, Cole, VK2BCC, will be giving a presentation on Morse code. This presentation includes the history of Samuel Morse's original code of the 1830s, worldwide pre-telephone telegraph network with a focus on Australia's overland telegraph line and the east-west line across the Nullarbor. Marine radio from before the Titanic until its closure in 1999. Morse in wartime and many other services, including, of course, amateur radio. And finally, the learning process based on the original manual of the Marconi School of Wireless here in Sydney. After Cole's presentation, there will be an opportunity for those attending to peruse the disposals table for a bargain, enjoy tea, coffee, biscuits and cake while catching up with friends. Gathering will be at the Society's meeting rooms, Donnelly Park, Kyle Parade, Connells Point, near South Hurstville. Doors open 7:15 for a 7:30 start. Details about the Society's activities are available on their website, www.sgars.org. 73 from Peter, VK2EMU, Publicity Officer for the St George Amateur Radio Society. Going north to Hornsby, the Hornsby District's Amateur Radio Club, the last mid-monthly experimenters meeting was packed out with a larger than usual membership turnout plus 3 visitors. The main topic of discussion was helpful apps. Shared by attendees at the meeting, you can find a detailed list on the club's website. Club members took part in last weekend's John Moyle contest. Band conditions were excellent. Activity on 10, 15, 20 and 40 metres were truly the best seen for some time. And it's been a long time since 10 metres was so active, and we hope many clubs join the contest and contacts on the radio. The denoted commercial RTL-SDR systems were in service between San Francisco and Honolulu as early as April 1932, and between San Francisco and New York City by 1934. Well, digital radio has come a long way since then, and the Haddock monthly meeting coming up this Tuesday, March the 28th, Rob, VK2WI, will discuss some more recent developments. Also, Tony, VK2BTL, will focus on the practicalities of DMR, including the good, the bad and the ugly of getting set up. 73, and let's keep radio active. Matt, VK2BAI, Haddock, President.
This is VK2WI and relay stations pausing for network identification. Would manual relay stations please identify? Thank you, relay stations. If you missed anything in this morning's bulletin, tune in tonight at 19:30 to the expanded VK2WI news service on all VK2WI frequencies and automated repeater relays. This is VK2WI on a range of frequencies and VKE580 on 5425 kHz. We now return to the final segment of this morning's news.
Activities on the air. Daily, Manly Warringah, early bird net, 6:30 a.m, on or near 3690, lowest sideband. Or, if that's too early, the morning net is from 8 a.m, on or near 7189. The Central Coast Amateur Radio Club morning tea net on weekdays, 10 a.m, VK2RAG, which is 146 decibels, 725, 91.5 tone, and also on Echolink. Also daily, the Amateur Radio Central West Group lunchtime net, 1 p.m, VK2RCW. Mondays, West Lakes net, 9:30 a.m, 40 metres, 7115, VK2ATZ Portable. Monday also, Great Lakes Radio Club net, 7 p.m, VK2RGL, which is 147.1, 91.5 tone, Echolink VK2RGL-R. Hunter Radio Group VK2AWX News, 7:30 p.m, 146.9, and also 438.025. Amateur Radio Central West Group net, 8 p.m, VK2RCW. Mondays, Lightning net, 8 p.m, 1860, net control Steve, VK2STG, and the Haddock net, 8 p.m, VK2RNS, 147.25, and also available via Echolink. Monday nights, Waverley net, 8 p.m, VK2RBV, 438.1125. Yes, I'll read that again, 438.1125 with 91.5 tone. And activities online and on air, you can see their website. Tuesdays, the Blue Mountains net, 8 p.m, 3543, and Illawarra 80 metre net, 8:30 p.m, 3666. Wednesdays, West Lakes at 9:30 a.m, 7115, and 2 metre nets throughout the week, and you can see their website for details. Wednesday also, Hunter Radio Group net, 7:30 p.m, 146.9, and Haddock, 8 p.m, 3608.5. Blue Mountains net on Wednesdays, 8 p.m, VK2RBM, which is 147.05 with a 123 tone. and amateur radio Central West on Wednesdays, 8 p.m, 3653. Now Thursdays, the Fisher's Ghost Net, 7:30 p.m, VK2RFG, which is 438.65 with a -7 megs offset and 91.5 tone, and they're also on Echolink. Thursdays, the Oxy Region Net, 7:30 p.m, VK2RPM, 146.7 with a 91.5 tone. St George Net on Thursdays, 8 p.m, VK2RLE, 146.8, and also Central Coast Weekly Net, 8 p.m, VK2RAG, 146.725 with a 91.5 tone, and Echolink. Go to Friday's Morning Tea with Haddock, 9 a.m, 7106, West Lakes at 9:30 on Fridays, 7115, and Amateur Radio Central West Group, 8 p.m. on VK2RCW. Saturdays, West Lakes, Stone the Crow's Nest, 6 a.m, 3588. Saturdays, Illawarra, 9:30 a.m, VK2RMP, 146.850, and VK2RUW on 146.675. Saturdays, Snowy Mountains Net, 7 p.m. on the Southeast Network, VK2RFS, which is 146.75, VK2RSE, which is 147.375, and VK3RDH, 146.625, and Echolink. Sundays, West Lakes DMR Net, 8:30 a.m, usually on Talk Group 3802, and listen to Talk Group 505 at 8:28 a.m. Oxy Region Net, 9 a.m, VK2 RPM, 146.7 with a 91.5 tone. Also Sundays, Wyson Nets from 6 p.m. on Chatswood 2 metre or Kurrajong 70 centimetre repeater, and from 6:30 p.m. on DMR or HF, and check the website for details. Submitting news items. If you're planning activity, you can let us know here at VK2WI News so we can publicise it. You can email the details to news@irsw.org.au, or you can leave a message with the office by phone 02 9444 0123. The VK2WI News team is looking for volunteers. You'd be taking part in production of scripts, audio items, as well as announcers and engineers here at VK2WI. And inquiries can be made by email to news@irsw.org.au. On tonight's evening bulletin at 7:30 p.m. with full local and state news plus technical features, your announcer will be Peter, VK2EMU, with Matt, VK2YAP, as engineer. Well, that's about all from VK2WI News here this morning. Your announcer's been Al, VK2OK, and your engineer's been Izzy, VK2CAA. Callbacks will be taken shortly. If you can call back to the relay station that provided the broadcast to you on VK2RDX at Mount Bindo, callbacks will be taken with thanks to the St George Amateur Radio Society on VK2RNC Newcastle. Paul, VK2APA, is standing by, and on the Central Coast, Steve, VK2SKC, will be taking callbacks on both 6 and 2 metre repeaters at VK2RAG. Here at the VK2WI site, we'll listen for callbacks for those that took the broadcast directly in the studio. I'll start with 20, then 80, 30, and 40. In engineering, Izzy will take callbacks on 160 and 10 VHF and UHF frequencies, and he'll advise the order. All the best from the broadcast team here at VK2WI. Stay safe. Thank you for listening. And the thought of the day is some people swim in the pool of opportunity and others just paddle up to their knees.